Hi there. In this video, I'm going to talk about rules and operations and how you can use these items to create logic, functionality, and workflow in your applications. Let's get started. So here we are on the rules screen, which shows all of the rules in the system along with their corresponding operations. So a rule is a set of conditions on which you want something to happen, and the operations are those things that happen in response to that rule. So the first column that you'll see in the rule list is the publish icon. So rules can be either published or draft. Draft rules will only run for you as an administrator, but when you want to deploy rules out to users, you need to publish it. Next is the name of the rule. So you give the rule some meaningful name that makes sense to you. Next, the data model that the rule applies to. Next is the type of rule. So there are three main types of rules that you'll use: a data integrity rule, a display rule, and a transaction rule. I'll get into more details on these later. There are also scheduled, polling, and webhook rules that will be shown in a later video. Next, the application that the rule belongs to. And then the conditions column. So this is the details on that rule, and this sentence is actually made for you automatically based on the conditions that you define. And next is the operations. So each rule can run one or more operations, and you'll see those different operations here. And finally, there's a tile icon at the end, which gives you an overview of that rule and the operations that run. So if we click on that, you'll see the details on the different conditions and what those operations actually do. So the first type of rule, a data integrity rule, is used to ensure that data meets the conditions that you specify. So for this rule, expense items must be equal or less than 5, meaning that if an expense form item cost is less than or equal to 5, prevent the transaction. So the way this is defined is by setting a filter condition on the cost and setting it to equal or less than a value of 5. So when that condition happens, Ruly will prevent the transaction. Down here at the bottom, you can enter a message that will be displayed to the user so that they know what they've done wrong. And there is also an allow users to bypass option. So you can set a warning to the user that they should have a cost greater than 5, but it's okay if they don't, they can still proceed and save that record. So here I'll type in a value of equal or less than 5 and try to save. And it prevents me from being able to save. The next type of rule is a display rule. Display rules are used to dynamically change the look or behavior of forms as users are entering data into those forms. So in this example here, it's an expense form, and it says when the status equals approved, show the reopen button. So when the user approves an expense form, it will display an additional button to reopen the claim. So this is defined very simply in the rule by setting a filter condition with the status field, setting it to equals approved, and creating a visibility operation which shows the button when the condition is true. So you can hide and display any number of buttons, fields, or sections using display rules. So here on this expense form, when I click Approve to Pay, the Reopen button displays. There are many other things that can be done with display rules. For more information, please look at the help icon and the documentation that is contained there. Thanks for watching.